There's not a sound. You know you're somewhere special. It's spiritual because it's there. The mountains and the rugged coastlines are what makes Newfoundland beautiful in so many ways. It is a rugged place. You have to be durable to live here. It's part of who we are as Newfoundlanders. You are part of the color. You're part of the landscape.
It's all just a creation of the wind. Tuckamore is sort of an elfin forest, a forest that you expect things to come creeping out from under, and otherworldliness. No vegetation grows underneath because the sunlight doesn't get down there at all. But you do see mushrooms popping up out of the brown duff, flower stems of Indian pipe popping up in clusters. Everything is against these trees, the salt and the wind, but they cling on year to year, decade after decade, much like the people along the coast.
In Gros Morne, you're surrounded by the natural beauty, but there's also so much wonderful cultural heritage. Before electricity, before the roads came in, you were completely isolated here. Just close your eyes. Step back in time to really experience rural outport Newfoundland living.
The first time I hiked up the back of Western Brook Gulch was 20 years ago. And I've done it quite a few times since. It's still challenging. Being able to go to these rugged places in Gros Morne National Park is a cultural beauty, it's a social beauty, as well as an environmental beauty.
You never really encounter anyone up here. It's really quiet. You can listen to the water flowing down over the rocks, the wind whistling through the canyons. I find it really relaxing, almost therapeutic to come up and hike the tablelands. It's all about taking your time. It's like no other landscape in Newfoundland and Labrador. The scenic beauty, the fjords up in the north part of the park, the cliffs, the canyons, the vegetation, this whole unique geology. Barren landscape, but quite beautiful.
The trees get up to about 170 years old, so densely matted and contorted and twisted together that they form an impenetrable hedge. The communities here go back into the 1800s. They've been through very difficult times. The resilience of the tree is a metaphor for the resilience of the people who have lived along this coast, and they've done very well.
Many of the places along the coastline, including Broom Point, were chosen for their access to the vital fishing grounds that were just off the shorelines that could provide you with lobster, salmon, and codfish in particular. This is still a living, thriving, vibrant fishing community. The human story of Gros Morne.
The tablelands is representative of this place because it's a very rugged, harsh environment. Any kind of plant that lives on the tablelands has to have special characteristics to even survive. And I think in a lot of cases, you know, that's true about living in Newfoundland. And that's an incredible part of this story. It is a special place, and it certainly has an impact on people.
Believe it or not, even though I guide this, and it is my job, I will still do it by myself, just for fun. Viewing it through the eyes of others does give me a fresh perspective, and it does remind me how spectacular this place is. It's challenging, and it's constantly surprising. It changes.
One day you're hiking up Gros Morne Mountain in the Arctic Alpine. Another day you're walking along the volcanic coastline. Today we're hiking on the Earth's mantle. You're really exploring a unique landscape, and you're going on a real adventure. You're getting up to over 2,200 feet. It really puts things in perspective as to how big and grand the landscape is.
A few years ago, I worked in a little gray box on a little gray chair, tapping little gray keys, looking at a little gray screen. There's gray granite here, but believe me, it's a different kind of gray, and there's a lot of color. The color of the people, the color of the plants, the color of the environment, and the color of the experience. There is no gray in my life anymore.